Hey folks, Mr. Dell here. We are looking today at a situation that has a ratio. We're dealing with ratios and proportions. You can look at this as a unit rate kind of a question. So there's different ways to approach this one. But it's all around ratios and finding missing values of equivalent ratios. And this is CPM. Specifically, course 3 is where this problem comes out of, and it's section 5.2.3 and number 5-51. Okay, so I'll read it and we'll go from there. Janelle came to bat 464 times in 131 games. At this rate, how many times should she expect to have at bat in a full season of 162 games? So here's our first statement is our first ratio. So we can say that 464 at bats for 131 games, right? So this is our initial ratio based on what information I have. So we have Janelle has 464 at bats in 131 games. What it's asking is it wants to know how many at bats in 162 games. So this is where we create a proportion, right? So I'm looking at this as a fraction. A ratio is a fraction in this case, and I'm wanting the equivalent fraction with a different denominator. So I can actually set these equal and solve for my missing value by creating an equation. 464 over 131 equals x over 162. So this is now a proportion, and it's a matter of solving for x. When you have a proportion and you're finding a missing value, one of the ways of solving this is using cross multiplication. So I can just basically diagonally multiply. So I have 131x is equal to, so this is where I have to take and figure out what is 464 times 162. With these kind of numbers, I'm pretty sure that a calculator would be allowed to be used. And I would, in my class, allow students to use a calculator if we had that type of large numbers. If this was a test, probably wouldn't be giving that of large numbers without a calculator. So here's the multiplication, right? So we're looking at 464 times 162. And that gives me 75,168. So now I have 131x equals 75,168. So now at that point, it's divide both sides by 131. I'm solving for x. So I can then take that and divide by 131. And I end up with approximately, because I'm going to round here, 573.8, right? I can round to the nearest tenth. And when we talk about at bats, so if we're gonna really have an answer to this of approximately how many at bats, we're really gonna round actually to the ones place, because at bats are whole numbers; they're not decimal values. You don't have a portion of an at bat. So my final answer would be in 162 games, she would have approximately, let's still write approximately 574 at bats. Okay, so that would be a good answer there. All right, there you go.